And now for the tale of the tape in this heavyweight showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by Kolek Suneater, and Nagarythe, or the High Elves, who are going to be led by Elithanar and his crazy-ass eyes. So definitely going to be a very fun matchup. We have some big monsters. We have Kolek Suneater facing off against, it's not going to be a Walmart dragon. I think it's going to be a Costco dragon, or kind of the mid-ranged one, which is going to be the Moon Dragon. So definitely going to be fun, guys. So as far as the build goes in the front line, we have a combination of the Chaos Marauders, who are a decent chaff unit, and honestly, they put up a good fight against High Elf Spearmen. They have 35, 30, and 28 for their respective combat stats. They're somewhat quick with 35 speed, I think. Yeah, 35. And let's see if they can outmaneuver Spearmen. So the Spearmen do have 33, so it's pretty much a wash. They could probably keep up, but still, that maneuverability doesn't hurt. On top of that, we have two groups of the Chaos Warriors with great weapons. I didn't want it to be a complete monster mash on the front line, in that my troops just get pounded by White Lions with all Marauders. So I decided to bring a couple groups of the Chaos Warriors with great weapons. And they have good stats. I definitely think they're very cost effective. These ones do have a couple chevrons, so it's not the most accurate kind of an analysis of their stats, but 38, 35, and 38 right now with great leadership and great armor. So they're going to probably be able to beat White Lions head to head. Granted, there are Sisters of Avalorn and Chariots and Dragons, so there are many variables that could switch up that fight. On top of that, we do have Kolek Suneater. He's going to be going in with his fat, angry Star Crusher. I mean, I don't actually have the item, but he's still wielding the Star Crusher here, right? So, yeah, he's a very risky pick. This is a bold strategy, Cotton. I'm not sure if it's going to pan out, but I wanted to bring a bit of a wild card pick. Now, normally going with a Lord who's a much harder target, I think if you were playing a very competitive, like the most competitive Lord choice would probably be the Warp Chicken, just because he has that super high missile resist. He can get in the back line and Drumstick. He has a pretty good Lord magic, and you don't have to bring a caster as well when you bring the Drumstick Master, so you save some money. So he's probably the best choice, but Kolek is kind of more of an all-in type character, in that if your opponent doesn't have the answers for him, and they bring dragons and big targets and dragon princes, he's going to be able to just smash them into the Shadow Realms. That's why I decided to bring Kolek, but it's going to be a little bit scary because Falcon, of course, loves his Elithanar, who's basically an anti-Kolek character. And on top of that, he has a bunch of these Sisters of Avalorn to the back, so it's going to be a fierce cockfight for sure. For my mobile forces, I have three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters, so 3 in total. These guys pretty good at dealing with dragons. I mean, not going to just cut them to pieces, but 50 armor. I mean, they have high missile damage against light armor. The dragon only has 50. We have a Metal Sorcerer as well, so we could use the Plague of Rust to butter things up before we go in. But look at that Moonbow coming in there and taking a couple of those guys out. Metal Sorcerer, like I said, just the standard non-final transmutation kit. We do have the Piercing Bolts, or Searing Doom, and Plague of Rust, and the Transmutation of Lead. And also we have two groups of Chaos Chariots. We're not going with the heavy Gorby's Chariots. I was like, I'm going to rush these guys through the front line, try and get onto the archers, and see if we can net some value. So that's pretty much it for my force. Hounds over here, and that is it, aside from a group of Chaos Knights who are teamed up with the Hounds. Chaos Knights with the shields, just kind of experimenting with them versus the Lances. These guys have better sustained combat stats, whereas the Lances have better shock damage, but you know, sometimes I tend to forget them, so I'm just like, yeah, let's get the ones with a little bit safer stat line. So for Falcon's army front line of the White Lions, he does also have a couple chariots, which are going to be super good. These are like heavy AP chariots, and they're also heroic single entities with like high HP. I don't know if he has heal. Where's his caster over here? It looks like he does have a high mage. So yeah, he has Apotheosis, so it's really going to be effective with these single entities. Another chariot right here on the mage, and it looks like Elithanar, the Costco dragon, or the Moon Dragon up in the skies, and in the back, two Sisters of Avalorn. It's going to be very tough for Kolek here, guys. These sisters are going to be great. Spearmen on the flanks and in the back, and that is pretty much it. So let's get this show on the road. So these sisters are going to be teeing off into my Marauder Horsemasters over here, getting a little bit of damage, kind of most certainly going to force me back. So I will be pulling back here in a moment. Don't want to be taking any unnecessary casualties. Now the chariots are going to be charging in the front. I probably should use the Chaos Knights to just kind of intercept them, but it looks like they're actually going in, maybe trying to blob me up for a breath attack. I think that's probably what he was thinking, but not 100% sure. But the chariot's going to be going in here, and at this moment I will be turning with the Hounds and Chaos Knights and jumping on top of the Nobles. Now had these guys been Dragon Ogres, this would have been a really good situation, but I don't think he would have gone in here had they been Dragon Ogres. So the frontline fight's underway. Chaos Warriors are just getting peppered by these Sisters of Avalorn, so some very good play here from Falcon, just focusing down these armored targets. And I do get a nice Lord of the Storm on the Sisters, and we're able to take out 9 models, which is actually really cost effective. And over on the flank, we do have this Noble a little bit pinned in right here, but for some reason I pulled the Chaos Knights back. Maybe I should have stayed, but I think it was because he came over with the Dragon, and I figured, hey, the Hounds can kind of keep him in check. But I didn't want to get caught in like a very bad breath attack. So Kolek's going to be jumping in and laying a bit of a whooping on the Noble, but it looks like he missed, and the Noble will be pulling back. Now, the frontline fighting is going really bad. My Chaos Warriors getting pounded by the White Lions. They did damage, but the Sister of Avalorn fire in the beginning, which is devastating. So here's where the Chariots come in. So the Chariots just bum rush through the front line. They're going to be getting in here in conjunction with some Hounds on top of the Sisters of Avalorn. We're going to be punting these ladies and getting some really, really good damage on them. So far the Chariots doing very well. Sisters of Avalorn have taken some work, but man, the frontline engagement going very badly. The White Lions really doing a good job against Chaos Warriors with the support of the Sister of Avalorn fire. Now my Chaos Knights are going to be charging in. I do have the Overwatch fire coming in from my Marauder Horsemasters, although it's not actually Overwatch fire, it's just standard fire. But they're going to be throwing in, going after the dragon, but we're having trouble getting on the target. Chariots pulling out. We're going to be just going into the back of the Spearmen, just bouncing wherever we can, trying to butter up the forces. But the bounce power is relatively even. I would say it's just no one's in a clear state of advantage. I think this was actually how it was when the battle started. The Chaos Knights are going to be charging in with Kolek and smashing on some of the white lines and pulling back right now. So I guess arguably the Lances would be a little bit better with the way I'm currently using them. Kolek trying to switch over and get onto the Noble, but not able to do so. And it looks like these Sisters are able to kind of stabilize a little bit, get some fire coming in, but the Hounds are going to be rushing into the Sisters. And they do actually have the Hand of Glory, so the reload skill and melee attack is actually going to make them beat the brakes off these Hounds. In the meantime, his Chariots are doing a great job. Falcon's just riding through with the Sorcerer, and the Noble just doing... it's not a Sorcerer, is it? It's a Mage. It's a Mage, not a foul Sorcerer. So the Mage and the Noble are just going to be riding amok amongst my Marauders here, getting a ton of value, and I can't quite get on the Dragon how I want to. Kolek is in the main line, and the Sisters are very just bogged up here, but a beautiful breath attack actually just roasting down there, but that actually didn't do that much damage. It looked like the arc was really good, but even still, I guess it didn't hit home. Chaos Knights are going to be fighting against white lines, and now they are in sustained combat, so this is where they're going to shine compared to the other variant, and also the martial prowess is gone, so the melee defense on these guys now is going to be 24, definitely going to be pretty weak, so just trying to pick where we can, but yeah, the white lines and company have done very, very good so far. Marauder Horsemasters have actually been forced back. We decided to charge into the Sisters and try and finish them off, but I had to pull back there. The Moondragon is going to be fighting against Kolek, and Kolek's actually paying his dues. He's doing pretty good, but something I've been ignoring this entire game, didn't even register in my mind that he had a Lithanar. I was just like, and Kolek was kind of getting worn down, but I was like, what's really doing the damage? I mean, the Moondragon does a little bit, but I think a Lithanar had just been doing a ton of work this entire game, but the Chaos Knights and Chariots running in, just getting into the Sisters, pounding those Sisters, Lord of the Storm doing a ton of damage against them, so suddenly we're getting a couple good plays here that might be able to kind of claw us back, but these Chariots are in really good shape, and I don't really have any infantry left. The Chaos Knights have gotten into the fight, 42 models, but I think I'm in a little bit of a dangerous situation. There's some Spearmen and White Lions coming back in, and yes, they're tanky, but I really was just overcommitting to finish off those Sisters, whereas I think I should have been a little bit safer with the Chaos Knights. Now, over here in the open field, we are able to isolate the Noble, and he's taking a bit of a beating from Kolek. Also, there's some Poison Hounds here slowing him down, so he's going to have some trouble getting away. So that's a very nice little pick there, but the center pocket is definitely favoring the High Elves as their Noble, plus the Moondragon is able to really punish a lot of my Chaos Knights who are actually terrified. So very, very tough situation. Now, we almost got this Noble. If we could have gotten him there, that would have been a huge grab for us. Kolek, for some reason, just decided to just stand and take a Moonbow to the face for some reason, but we're going to be reissuing the order. I don't know if the order dropped or something happened, but that does happen from time to time, or maybe I just screwed up. Who knows? So the Noble here is going to be getting hit. He is shaken, and I do have the Chaos Sorcerer fighting here as well with some Hounds trying to finish him off. The Searing Doom is dropped in the back on top of the Sisters, but Falcon with some very beautiful micro is able to pull back there. And he's just been on point with this Costco Dragon. The Costco Dragon doing work, however, he's now in open field, and I have all three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters who are going to be kind of poking him up in the skies. But a nice little breath attack, taking advantage of the lapse of my micro here, and you can see that I do take a little bit of extra damage because I was blocked up. But the Moondragon, yeah, it's doing its thing as far as kills. It does have 42. Kolek, though, is just getting peppered by the archer units, and now you can see the Noble and the Sorcerer, or the Mage, are able to come in there and actually really punish my caster. So it's looking a little bit tough. Chaos Knights do get in there with a beautiful charge. We get in there with the remnants of the Chaos Knights on top of these Sisters. We break one group. The other one is very close to breaking as well. So we're going to be just weaving through the seam here, trying to get onto the other group of Sisters. But I just ignored a Lithanar this entire game. I did not even register him. He's just so sneaky and so unassuming. But he's the one, I think, who's paid really big dues and just doing perpetual damage over the course of the whole game. What I should have done is just gotten Kolek, just bull rushed in here and just beat the brakes off of Lithanar, which there's not too many things that could protect him. I guess the Dragon and some of the Spears, but even still, I should have gone for that earlier, but we'll see what happens. So over here in the back, you can see the White Lines here getting taken out, actually, by the Chaos Sorcerer and Kolek. My missile units are kiting backwards and getting some decent value against these Spearmen. Chariots still running amok, and these Sisters are just getting rode down by the Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights actually doing really well, 76 kills on them, and just fighting to stay in combat is actually going to be pretty good against Sisters because they have really good defensive stats to boot, but the high stats on these guys is going to be quite strong. Now the Dragon comes in here, and despite a couple decent picks, Kolek still being alive, the fact that a Lithanar is full health and he has a couple single entities that are pretty healthy, or I guess one of them, it's actually putting him really far ahead in the bounce of power. So we're going to be kiting back here a little bit, trying to get some picks. Kolek falling back as well, and if we can maybe isolate this Noble and get some value there, but again, guys, the X factor. Over here, we have a Lithanar just shooting from the trees, and you saw we started to pull the bounce power back there, but a Lithanar just sits, and I was like, okay, I can go and hide, but I still, in my mind, was like, not even giving him the respect, a Lithanar, but still, he was the one just doing this steady damage here. So I do have a bit of a rally. I have the Chaos Sorcerer coming in. My Marauder Horsemasters are able to come in and finish off the Sisters. We're just going to be bouncing from target to target, taking advantage of our mobile advantage here, getting into the White Lines, and Marauder Horsemasters aren't pushovers in melee combat, so we should be able to finish off the White Lines there. If not, maybe break them. They're pretty close. They're shaking 18 leadership. That's going to be tough. So, as far as Falcon's forces, he does have this Noble right here. He has the Mage with high magic. He has the Dragon. These guys are all pretty low, but a Lithanar is full health, but I kind of was like, okay, maybe if Kolek can rally, I feel like a 500, 800 HP Kolek might be able to do some work against a Lithanar without ammo. And he is now out of ammo, so I kind of in the game was like, oh, maybe I'll have a chance if I can use the last of my ammunition here, just run through the chariots, and it looks like I was out of ammo there. But the chariots maybe coming back in can do something, but at this point it's looking a little bit grim. We do get a Searing Doom, we charge in and try and snipe out that guy. Big Daddy Kolek over in the bushes is just like, oh, nobody loves me. So he's going to be going back out here to fight, but he's just going to be shattering, and that's going to be it. So very well played to Falcon. It was a really fun, close game, and I really just think the name of the game was ignoring Elithanar. Like, that whole game, he just gave me the business. He was just shooting with his bow. We were able to shut down the sisters pretty effectively, 5 and 11 kills. They did some HP damage, but the chariots really did a good job rushing through the High Elf front line. So if I were to kind of, run this one back, I would probably keep the build pretty similar, but maybe cut Kolek, get the Warp Chicken, and just spend the extra money I have on a couple other infantry units so I could win that fight or put up a better fight there, because my infantry did get pounded. Falcon did a really good job shooting those guys down in conjunction with his White Lions, and yeah, it was a really cool build. His missile play was really good, and also his chariot play was very solid with the Noble and the Mage. Those guys with their heavy AP on the chariots were able to just run amok and really just clean up my infantry. So it was an awesome game. Very well played to Falcon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Chaos versus Nagarath game, and we will be seeing you guys soon. Take care.